Welcome back to History of Words and Pictures. I'm looking at a 1916 Sears and Roebuck catalog here, one that's a little bit worse for wear. But it's the only old one I've ever seen in person, and this was a slice of American life for a long time. I remember this. And they were famous for their guarantee, which you can see over there on the left. And that was a big deal because they wanted people to buy with confidence because this was long-distance buying, and it was really part of Americans spreading out west. So they offered just about anything you could think of. Clothing, there's men's, there's women's. There's a lot of clothing in this, but it's just about everything, and the clothing is my favorite because it's pretty funny sometimes. Like these kids, because what toddlers don't need hats like that. We'll go vertical on this one. Here's some more kids. Gotta look at all those layers. What a beating. Now, in 1897, they started adding some color, so check out these dapper young kids. And shoes as well, so using some sizzle to sell the steak here. I love the fashion, like I mentioned, and especially here, these guys just do not look that comfortable to me. Look at the guy fishing there on the right. He's in long pants, a shirt, and a tie. What was wrong with people? You realize they didn't have air conditioning either. I mean, they dressed like this. Now, these two guys look very dapper, though. You've got to give them credit. And that shows how important the art was, right? This is about making a sale, and they want the customer to look at this and decide they want to look like that. I don't know why anyone would ever want their kids to look like this, but again, the art's important, kind of showing off the wares, and it's got some great anachronistic touches here. And just, again, looks absolutely horrible, but, they look like they're having a good time. And straight from, caring for your children to buying a gun. Because this was supposed to be your one-stop shop. Walmart kind of came to dominate rural American shopping, right, for a lot of necessities and things like that. Way later in history. This was kind of the precursor of that, right? So it's sporting goods, guns, fishing rods, tools, as we'll see. Obviously clothing. Back to tools. I know I've got it vertical here, but I love that handy pinch bar is a name for one crowbar. I love the detail on this camera here. Just imagine the army of people it took to produce all the drawings every year, or really twice a year, when these things were produced. Luckily, Full Dress Tobacco, that was the brand name back there, doesn't sting. That was the big selling point, which you would think would be a prerequisite. So pocket watches, of course, big deal, and that's actually how the Sears and Roebuck catalog started. Personal medical aids, the kind of thing you'd go into a Walgreens today for. And that's the idea, right? Anything you need you're going to find here, including copper cable to make a lightning rod with. While we let a few other items from yesteryear pass by, I'll talk about Walmart for a second again, because remember, they were credited, for lack of a better description, with putting a lot of mom-and-pop shops out of business. Well, again, this was the same thing, but a century before. You can just go ahead and order your piano from there. And now the only other splash of color in the whole thing. Must have been really exciting for the artists when they got to work with color. I think all the other ones working on the black and white images must have been really jealous. Here are some baby strollers for all of $3 each. And now I really love this because Willie becomes William. Your son becomes a young man when he gets his first long pants suit. The ad even tells parents not to worry about other boys teasing theirs. Well, of course they're getting teased. You saw what those outfits look like. And we'll go back to tools to finish because it would not be Sears and Roebuck without tools. But the last thing I want to mention is I guarantee you people sat around and leafed through these just because they were bored. Because I remember doing that kind of thing as a kid. Before the internet, when the TV only had a few channels. As a kid, I would have been looking at back then, when this thing came out, I would have been looking at the knives and things like that, and maybe the guns. Dads would be looking, wistfully at the tools. And that's what it was like sometimes back in the paper-based days. Thanks.